Hello everyone and welcome to the day one for our Selenium live training and a live project and the vision to build this dream automation framework. So I'm hoping that you've all watched the orientation session before joining today's program, and because this is kind of a continuation from that. The concept about what we want to do and how we want to do has been shown in that session, which should be accessible to you on itlearn.com. But at the same time, I do want to make sure that you all understand how we're going to work this out. So team, I'm going to run a few poll questions and I would love you to answer these for me, please, because this will help me to really gauge where we are. The first one is very simple. It says, did you get a chance to watch that orientation session video? It could have been live or it could have been video. I just want to know from the audience as to where you are right now. That way I'll be able to figure out if I need to give a broader perspective again, an overview of what we wanted to do, and then continue with today's session. And team, like I said, it's going to be a very interactive session, so I need a lot of response from everyone. So I've got about 70% votes in. I'm going to give another 5 seconds for everyone else to start filling in. I hope you all can hear me. This is a poll that's going on, so please put in your votes quickly, so that way we are able to go to the next question. The only 70% votes have come in. The other 30% who are idle, guys, come on. This is the time for you to start putting your votes in. So we've got about 85% votes in. I'm going to close this in a quick second. And here are the results. So can you all see the poll results in front of you? So we've got 56% yes and 44% not yet. So please do go back and watch this orientation session video if you have not, because that will talk about what we're trying to do in this program of the training overall. I want each of you to do it. Can you all see the results on your screen? All right, great. So that's about that. So almost equal percentage of people who have seen it and who have not seen it. That will tell me about the fact that, if I need to give you an overview and so on. The next question, team, is did you understand the idea of this training that I've been presenting? It says basically that you've seen the video, you know what I'm trying to do with it and how you could benefit by going through it. If you have no idea, then it is like no. If you've got a good idea, not like awesome idea, then it is a yes. If you have few more questions, that you're somewhere in between, maybe that have few more questions concept. So team, I'll request you all to use the poll to give your answer and not in the question section, because that way the poll will give the results overall. So team, 5 more seconds before I close this poll and share these results with you all. All right, let's go. We've got again about 84% votes in. I'm going to close this and share the results. So 50% of you are yes, that you know what we're trying to do out here. 25% of you have no clue exactly about what we're doing, and that is primarily also because of the fact that you've not watched the video. The remaining 25% have certain questions. The 50% mark is good, team, because that's talking about how we are able to participate with each other and which direction we're going in. Let me talk about a couple more questions, then this will really help me. So this question is to know who you are, team. Who are you? Are you a total beginner into IT, or you're someone who's got trained into it but looking for the first job, or you're someone who's working in QA and planning to move to automation, or someone who's already worked in automation testing but would like to do something more aggressive in their career development? So kindly take the last 5 seconds to vote on this, please. So we've got about 80% votes in, another 5 seconds and then we'll close this poll. All right, great. About 86% votes in, and here are the results. The result says 13% of you, which is a smaller community, who's total beginner to IT, and that's totally fine. You're in the right place. You're not going to get lost. But I'll guide you, and you have to do certain things much earlier than the others to be able to catch up. 32% of you have been trained in QA but looking for the first job. 37% of you are already working in QA, and that's the largest community in this poll, but are planning to move into automation testing and so on. So team, for all of you who's trying to reply on the questions, you're supposed to answer on the poll. Click on your option and submit that option. And 18% of you, which is not a small community, is talking about they're already in automation testing and are trying to further progress their career within it. So great. This is phenomenal because of the fact that how is the overall audience shaped up. So kind of equally distributed, but the major percentage or of people who have got the QA knowledge and how we go about getting to the next level of automation. So the last poll, which with this current audience is still not necessarily that we'll get the right answer, but the question is very simple. Are automation frameworks critical for software testing projects? Are they critical? Are they important? Or the fact that no, not really. They're not. It's not even necessary to do a framework. You can just do plain automation without any framework. It is your perspective, team. There's no right or wrong answer in it. And you also have an option maybe because you're not sure about it. You're not sure what automation frameworks can do. So another 10 seconds into this poll, and then that's the final poll, and we'll get started with our session today. And you can always use the in fact, I'm going to ask a question before I close this poll to everyone. We've got about 91% votes in. What do you think will be the answer? How many people would have said yes? Can you just guess? Just yes. Yes to this answer. How many people would have said yes in the chat, in the questions and answers, please? Just a guess. Whatever. What do you think is the poll result? So I see 100%, 50, 100, 40%, 100%, 80%, 60%, 50%, around 70%, 97%, 80%, and so on. 30% no. 85% will say yes. 90% will say yes. Okay, great. So let me close this poll and share those results with you. We've got about 91% votes in. So 91% of you have given it. So we've got about 68% of the participants who say yes. 10% of you believe no. And I hope towards as we go along in this project, we'll be able to convert that 10% into a yes or a maybe. 22% of you are not sure yet, also because maybe you don't know much about automation frameworks. That's why you're not sure, and that is fine. So great, the polls end now, and let's get started with our session. So this is our day one. Whatever I'm gonna do, team, I'm gonna put it within our within a shared document, within a shared folder in Google Drive, and periodically, not every day, but every few days, we'll start sharing it with the team. So at this time, what is it that we want to do? I'll talk about a high level goal. All right. Then we'll talk about the high level requirements to achieve this. Then we'll get more organized and say, for a beta version, what should we have? Like I said, this is going to be an interactive session. It is not just a session where I will start talking and you all put it in chat. I'm gonna unmute the people who have suggestions to share, and I want to be able to um, get your feedback in building this. How many of you know what is the goal, team? What is the goal that we're trying to do? Where are we trying to go with this kind of specific training? It's again Selenium WebDriver. Yes, it is Java. Mostly it's Java. And yes, we're trying to build uh, we're trying to build how to build the best framework. So what is the goal that we're trying to do? A high level vision, a high level goal. Then we can talk about what this should have. So I should have actually asked one more question to all of you, team. And I think I should do this. How many of you saw that video? Let me do this quick one. It will not take me more than 10 seconds to create this. So let me create this quick question. Did you see my video on all about automation frameworks? Yes, not yet. Just these two answers. I'm going to quickly put it, save this, and I'll do this last one, team. I didn't intend to do too many polls in this class, but it's important. I need to get the audience feedback. That's the reason. The reason I'm asking these questions is, do you know all about those automation frameworks? What are the different test automation frameworks that are available in the industry and how we can take benefit? Team, I've got about 75% votes in, and so far I'm not happy with the poll results. I'm sincerely not happy about it because this was one of the most important things that I've mentioned when we started to work on it. In the orientation session, I said you must watch this, and still we have lot of people who have not watched. Okay, 84% votes in. I'm going to close this in a quick 3-4 seconds. All right, so I know some of you were not present in the orientation session, but if you watch the video, so you should be able to see it. I will again put the link in the chat, and here are the results, team. 80% of you almost have not yet watched it. That's not good, team. It's not going to work this way. This training will not work. If you do not take my instructions and follow it, we will not go in the right direction. I want each of you to please kindly take my instructions and follow it, because the goal, the vision, only then will become easy and clear for us. Okay, so this is not agreeable, but let me quickly guide you where you can watch. So if you go into itlearn.com and click on archive, you'll be able to see all about automation frameworks event out here. So I'm going to quickly take this link, copy this link address and put it in the chat. I'm assuming that each of you will work on this going forward. Okay, so can you all see my screen? itlearn.com, go into the archive section, and within archive you'll see all about automation frameworks, and here is the link. The reason I'm also talking about it and showing it in my screen is for someone who's watching a video only, they've got access to this. Okay, now we're done. Now let's talk about what we should do. My goal is very simple, team. I want to build a simple, easy, yet powerful automation framework that can be adapted by any QA organization across the globe. It's going to be a free tool with good number of people trained to customize this product. So it's an actual product development that we're trying to do, team. All right, and this will help to easily automate any application under test without having a coding experience, and it's gonna be easy to maintain and execute for anyone within an organization. At a high level, this is the goal team, and I will not freeze on any of these documents as we go along. We will continue to evolve these concepts. We will come up with very, very clear steps. We'll come up with very, very clear things as to what this framework will do. But primarily what we're trying to do is a data-driven, a keyword-driven, and a page object model into a single hybrid framework. That is our overall intent. Okay, and to be able to do this, we also want to enable it with the fact that it has got powerful reporting and results dashboard post test execution. So once the test is run and executed, you should be able to give a very good powerful report and results. So this is kind of the summary of what I spoke on Monday as to what we're planning to do with this training. So while I build this framework, and I is me, Karthik Kosireddy, while I build this framework, I am going to train you and make you an expert at implementing and customizing this framework for any client. This is what is the overall goal. Now let's talk about high-level requirements. What are the different things that we see in this as a product? So if you ask me, I have to divide this into a few modules or concepts. How a QA engineer can go about working with such a framework. Maybe we can divide that scope overall into sections, and it will make it easy for us to understand how we could do it. Now, you have an option to raise your hand. Please listen to me very carefully. Within the GoToWebinar tool that we're using, the raise your hand option is basically signifying the fact that you have a question or you have a suggestion, and I need to unmute you so you can speak up and I can hear you, everyone else can hear you as to what you want to say. Now we want to take this goal and build a high level requirement. This talks about primarily all the core functionality of this product and what needs to happen. But before we go there, let me give you a quick simple scenario team. Okay, there is this concept of working on earth, and there is a concept of doing something in heaven. All right, so when I say that we're trying to do something in heaven, what I mean is, let's say we've been given all the luxury where we don't have any issue of the amount of finance, budget, people, skill, technology, talent, or nothing. Then what is the kind of features that we want to build? So if I'm on earth and I'm grounded and I'm already part of, let's say, a QA project, then I'll say, you know what, a simple linear framework or a functional decomposition framework. What is the linear framework? Nothing but writing individual scripts for each test case. Functional decomposition is talking about the fact that yes, we'll create a few reusable functions, or I'll create a data-driven framework or a keyword-driven framework, and so on. And we'll do it limited because we don't have all the time in the world. Now I'm saying, let's talk about very openly. as to what we could do if we have no restrictions in terms of the best thing that we can get into the market. Of course, I'm sure you'll all say that it is hybrid. Now, hybrid means what? We already wrote a few goal statements. Is there something else that you can add into this that I can say that yes, it requires to have this feature, this functionality and so on? We said all of these are there. What else do you think? And this is a question to all of you. I want you to collaborate with me and work with me in building this. You're going to be a creator of a new product that hopefully done well will really reach out to the market overall. And then from day 3 onwards, we'll start building it. Right now, we're trying to prepare our initial documentation. So what is a framework? Let me help you answer this question. Okay. I broadly believe, okay, this is my belief, and you can keep interacting with me to tell me what is that you believe. That to create a framework, first we will develop it. There is no question. Let's say it is developed. Now, how does the QA team use it? So the framework has been developed, right? They will first try and use that framework in writing the test cases, test steps, test data, etc. They will first write and build using this framework. Framework is like a skeleton. Always remember that. When I'm saying creating or writing, not the right word, and I want to see a better word from you for this, is to put the skin to it, put the organs within it, and you give blood to it and so on. Very literally like a human skeleton team. And you start putting all the features for it and so on. Okay, that is one. Second is you are preparing it for execution. Like in terms of where should we have this executed? Environment settings. What test data do I want it to run? Which test cases I want to run on? What is my page object factory if I need to page factory or page object model that I need to work on? And then finally, I do a run for it. I execute these things and then we get our results. Yes. So the concept of it being efficient, reusable and accurate will always stay with us. Team, I'm going to warn you ahead of time that the first 2 sessions is going to be very brainstorming. You know what's a brainstorm? How many of you do not know what a brainstorming is? Interact with me, please. Use your question and answers. Use your option to raise your hand if you want to speak up. This is a combined session. This, I'm not going to treat it like a typical training. We're trying to build an awesome dream framework, automation framework out here. Brainstorm is basically a concept where we open up everything. Look at it from an absolutely like an idiot perspective, that we don't have any prior knowledge about it, and try and look at all the potential possibilities of what can be done, what can fail and so on. Let just ideas fall in. Let just different thoughts fall in. There is nothing right or wrong when it comes to brainstorming. Okay, it is just opening up everything and then selecting what could work best. Now, I have said that these seem to be the few most important modules when it comes to creating or working with an automation framework. First, of course, we have to build it. There's no question. Then we have to customize or implement it for a specific QA organization or team. That is 2. we have to get it ready and prepared for execution. We will actually run the execution, and then finally we get to see the results. All right. So at a high level, do you think that we can talk about this product? It's a product team. End of the day, we're talking about a product. A product where I'm saying that this box, when people start using, will start doing certain results. And how it functions is based on its features and so on. Like a WhatsApp, like a LinkedIn, like a Facebook, like a QTP or a Selenium and so on. It's got a specific functionality. So when we build this framework, it should work in that fashion. Okay. So with this, do you think these are the right modules? I'm trying to break down the bigger picture into smaller modules. Any comments on this before I write it down, or while I'm writing this down? Any comments that you have? You have two options to answer me, question and answer, or feel absolutely free to raise your hand so I can go about unmuting you, and you're more than welcome to speak up, because this has to be a session where we all interact and build this together. Because once we get deeper into execution, changing the scope can become tough. Let us divide the overall. You know what? I'll call this as AnyAut for any automation. It should be able to do any level of automation. Simple thing, it should be able to do it. Let us divide the overall AnyAut into few manageable modules. That way it's easy for us. As of now, I'm seeing a total silence in the room, and I'm scared, guys. I'm so worried. I thought each of us have come either with a dream or with a great industry experience that you could help together to build this. And how we're going to do it. If you are part of the creation team, just imagine to the length of what you can do. So please, I'm looking at responses from you. So while I take what I have in my mind and put it up, I'm looking at people speaking up. So I've got one hand raised. Sarvana, I have you unmuted. Can you hear me? Can you try and speak up, please? Can't hear you. I'm not sure if you have I think you're using a computer mic and speakers, and you're not even muted at your end. So let's talk about, can't hear you. Sarvana, I have you unmuted. Develop the framework. Customize and implement the, I'll call implement, instead of AnyAut. Now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. So by high level requirements, hi Karthik, this is Professor Prabhu here. Hey, I like the way you are putting across all these things. Good. And by high level requirements, did you actually mean what features should be there in the framework that you are developing?
Correct. At a high level. And once
okay.
One feature, then we can expand on it.
Okay. So working at the backwards, reporting should be one of it, basically, where it should have a good reporting of the results.
Yes, you're right.
And another thing is about ability to read the test data from a source. It could be a database, or it could be an Excel, or it could be a file system. So we should decide on from where we need to read the data from. And
yep.
And it should also have the ability to choose what we wanted to do. Like, for example, if I have, say, hundreds of test cases, I don't want to run all of them at the same time. Maybe I should have the flexibility, or the product should give me the flexibility to run a selected set of test cases or group them based on the business need.
Can we also talk about what to run and when to run?
Yeah. What to run and when to run.
Yeah. True. See, now we're flowing now. Now we're flowing with the right things. The ability to be able to put the test data information. And it's not just test data. It could be test steps, criticality of each test cases, whatever, in various sources. And we're talking about working in heaven. Let's assume that this is what we need at the end of the day. Can we achieve everything or not in the beta version? We don't know. But we don't want to limit our imagination as to what we can achieve. Perfect. Sarvana, please continue.
And maybe one more, where to run also, maybe like, if we wanted to run it on.
Yeah. Where to run. Yeah. What to run, when to run, where to run. Right? Looks also rhyming. It's good.
Thanks, Karthik. I think that's pretty much I have on top of my mind.
Great, excellent. Thank you. And please feel free to raise your hand again, Sarvana. Great input. See, even as someone within this industry, for being there and working for so long, I still will forget a few things. And together as a team, I believe strongly that we could do this. Srinivas, there's something that you wanted to add?
Yeah, framework can be used. This is a framework is on top of the application, correct?
Exactly.
We can use it in any platform. Is it not only Selenium, or it is maybe we can use QTP, or this is the base for the design, correct?
See, okay. Let's talk about if this is the application under test. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to create, so we have manual test
Mm-hmm.
and we have automation testing. And let's say as the next version, we have the automation framework out here. So if I say that I'm going to use a human to do this manual testing, I have to also say what I'm going to use to do automation testing. Now, if I build something as an automation framework, I will definitely have to choose certain things. Look at Selenium, for example. It said that, you know what, do anything you want in Selenium IDE, but I will give you the ability to export the test into different technologies. C#, Java, Ruby, Python, no problem. Take it. I will let you export it. QTP says, you know what, only VB script. That's what it's going to be used. So, and these are just two of the popular ones, but then there are so many other automation testing tools that are coming.
Correct.
I think it should not be linked with a specific one unless open source. Now, if we say, let's put it there and see if we can really achieve, because right now we're not saying what can be done, what cannot be done. Can it be independent of the automation tool / technology, so that someone who knows QTP or Selenium or this and that does not matter. It's completely new. It's almost like saying that, you know what, we'll build the grandfather of a Selenium IDE with multiple more things, right? Srinivas, did I get your point correct?
Correct, yeah.
Yes. So great. Absolutely. Why not? We can always think about doing something like this as well. Because
Yes,
still,
can be, yeah.
maybe, yes, absolutely. And see, it is all about interacting with the DOM. For at the end of the day, it is just the DOM. It is how our objects are mapped within a tree structure at the end of it that will help us to say how we can interact with it. That's what Selenium uses, that's what QTP, every automation tool uses that model. We can get to it. So let's go about this and see some more ideas that will come. Who else, team? Anything else from your side, Srinivas? Good point. I put it down.
That's yeah.
Thank you. Great. Who else? So guys, like I said, once again, general note to everyone, what we're trying to do is see what features we can include. What could this do in such a way that it look beautiful, it look amazing, and we'll not freeze on this document yet. Even day 5, day 6, day 7, we'll still keep trying to evaluate and see, hey, you know what, why don't we do this? Let's get new ideas, new thoughts, and how we do it. Okay, so please use your hand to raise to speak up, or please feel free to use the question and answer. So a couple of suggestions that I've got from the question and answer is to be able to prioritize what to run. I'm gonna mute you back, Srinivas. Whenever you have a question, you can raise your hand again. So Anita, while I unmute you, I'm gonna write down a couple of points that I'm getting prior.
I had one question.
Sure.
Can we test the web services or like some microservices if available? Like in our current project, we are using some microservices through Postman. So can we add that feature in our framework?
Maybe. And what we're trying to do is we're not trying to rule out anything, because at the end of the day, it is integrations. And we can also talk about other APIs. Let's say to interact with the test management tools. What if an organization is already using, let's say, Jira or Bugzilla or ALM? Can we have this framework be able to pick up with those as integrators and start working with it as well, right? Can it integrate? Possibility. So right now I'm not saying what we should do and what we should not. I'm just saying what is all that we could do. And
Okay.
team, you have all seen the audience. So about 50% of them are in manual testing. So it's not that we're already experts in automation and we know exactly where we're going. So there's a lot of learning community out here. With the experience of some of the people who are already working in automation and manual testing, we are able to look at the practical requirements and challenges when it comes to building such a framework. All right. Great. So I've got a couple of ones in the chat. So I'm going to quickly write them down before I forget. What did I get? Priorities. What to run is like a priority, right, Archana? We need to property and severity. Yeah, criticality and severity. So that priorities of what to run. Criticality and severity. Now, within each of these high-level requirements, we've really not gone deep into what is what. Okay. My intent is to try and see how I can split them into different modules. Because end of the day, we'll do everything that we see here, but we will not split them into different modules, and then we have a lot of deviation from our core responsibility and opportunity. There you go. Flexible to integrate with continuous integration tools, continuous development tools, or so on. So continuous build and integration with, can I say integration with continuous builds tools? Ramesh, integration with continuous build tools. How can we integrate? Like Jenkins, Hudson, and so on, right? How to log defect. So how to log defect? We've talked about the reports and results. So defect management should be able to be here. And how we log them, where they put, and all that also we could do out here. Do understand, team, that already this market has got immense amount of people participating and they're doing everything. Now, if you are someone who's helping to develop such a product, and you are someone who's trying to use this kind of a product for your own portfolio and benefit, that I'm trained on doing that, you want to have a niche, a specific killer feature that says, you know what, this is why our product is different. This is my USP. This is my unique selling proposition. And that is why I'm proud of being part of this product. Framework should be in such a way that we should be able to run scripts in any browser. So cross browser. Then should it also be on cross browser and any Windows based application also, or desktop based application? Screenshots, why not even videos? And test execution videos. See, so many features can be brought. Do you really think, guys, with our team and let's say about 200 hours overall, we'll be able to develop such an extensive thing? The reason we're doing this is now we can prioritize and say what will go where. All right, in which version? Because a product development is a constant activity. It is never an ending. There's no product it ends saying that, you know what, this is it, we cannot go beyond. We keep enhancing it, we keep adding new features. We have to know where to start and what should be put into it. So I'm still seeing a lot more things on the chat rather than hands raised. I will prefer a few more hands raised. It's nice to hear from you guys as well. Can we use driver script in Selenium? That is automation object model, which is used in UFT. Yeah, so absolutely. Like concepts of automation object model. Simple things, team. At the end of the day, you want an executable to launch this framework, not through Eclipse or other IDEs. You don't want this to be there with Eclipse and other IDEs, team. You don't want to always say that, hey, you know what, to run this code, open up Eclipse, open the project and then run it. Maybe you want to create an executable or a package that people can install and start using it. We're using Google Robot Framework in a project. Can all the scripts from that be migrated to new tool? So you're talking about Robot Framework, right? Can we integrate with Robot Framework.org? Sure, why not? We can think about that. Should support mobile and responsive websites. Wow. See? Mobile and responsive websites. Guys, can I ask a question? Why are people not raising their hands to speak this out? Are you shy? Sincerely, guys, and you can answer yes or no in chat. Because I'm just trying to understand. Because I have lost all my shyness in terms of speaking up and saying what I want to say, even if I'm wrong. Because the failure is basically in the attempt to try something. If you don't try, it's the biggest failure. So no microphone, understandable. So I've got two answers. And if you're shy, please let me know. That's okay. I'm not going to tell your name out. I've got two no's and everyone else is silent. Again, you're shy to even answer, is it? In question and answer. Why are you even here if you're not interested, guys? Don't waste your time. Go spend time with your family, friends, kids, and so on. Or just speak up. This is the chance. No, great, amazing. Look at this. I'm getting so many no's. I got one or two saying, yep, little bit shy. Fair enough. But then others who are not shy, why don't you motivate the ones who are shy? That speaking out loud in an audience is fine, is not a big sin. You're not being assessed. We are all humans at the end of the day. So I've got two hands raised after this. So glad for it. Archana.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, Archana.
Hi, can you hear me? Hi,
Yes.
Karthik.
Hello.
Yeah, my question is, how can we decide on any specific application if we are building the framework, if we want to do it with a key-driven or the page-driven or page-object model,
Yeah.
or whatever the type of model we want to design? How can we decide on that?
So one of the fundamental things which you have not documented so far is it should be application independent.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be able to take it and apply it to any application. Yes, the fact is we may not be able to automate all the user stories or user steps into it. That is fine. But the fact that we should be able to implement it in any application. Be it I want to just implement a data driven concept into it, or a keyword driven, or a page object model, or hybrid, the user should be able to choose. Does it make sense?
Okay, but if we decide, yes, yes. But if we decide on keyword-driven framework, and I mean down the line, eventually it will be converted into a hybrid later on,
No.
or it stays whatever we design at first.
It should be able to change. So a team could say that,
Okay.
you know what, right now I just want to do a simple data driven, write a few test cases and say I want to add data to it. Tomorrow they'll say, you know what, let's also do keywords now. After,
Mm-hmm.
let's say 6 months, they'll say, why don't we also put a page object into it? Why don't we also do some kind of integration? They should be able to choose that, okay, it's like this. I buy a car which is
Mm-hmm.
let's say like a Porsche. It can go at even 200 miles per hour. It can go amazingly fast, but I can also drive it at 10 miles an hour. I can also do local. I can also do freeways at racetracks. Depending on my usage, depending on my intent and the availability of resources, I would like to do it accordingly. It should be
Mm-hmm.
expandable.
Got it.
Expand the
Okay.
usage as needed. Can start with even data driven and progress to any other framework as needed. Okay. Um, or vice versa. So they'll say, you know what, I'll start with a keyword driven, or I'll start with a page factory, and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
what we're trying to do is
Got it.
get all the goals. So the first two sessions is about goals
Mm-hmm.
and how we split them into high level requirements. So one of the work or activity that I'm going to do is try and figure out where will these goals get fitted in these high level requirements. Execute, and then we have results. At high level, these are the 5 modules that I see. Develop is basically fine. That is like step 0 that we're going to do anyway. But once we do this, most of these features should be able to fall in those modules. Which module will what feature fall is what we have to see now.
Okay.
Anything else, Archana?
That's it for now, Karthik. Thank you.
You're welcome. I also see one more question from you. Can you explain page object and keyword driven model? So please do watch that
Mm-hmm.
automation, all about automation framework. That will really explain things to you. It's a little long session.
Oh,
You can skip maybe the first 10, 15, 20 minutes, but after that it becomes very easy for you to go through it.
sure. Thank you.
Thank you. So I've muted. Srinivas, you still had something else to share?
It is just like one more just doubt it is like the cloud based also does it goes the same framework, or you need to have a different kind of framework? The framework is only one as for my knowledge, but
Let's talk about a cloud-based framework. What is a cloud-based framework? From my understanding, cloud is nothing but a glorified version of what we call as web today.
correct.
There,
Yes, that is right.
that is accessible to a larger audience, which is distributed across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
And people are able to pull the information from a common source and use it and able to execute it. Absolutely perfect. We want it to be cloud based because we don't want it to be sitting in one system or one machine or one server that is only accessible to few people who is there in the department. So cloud-based framework means they can host their test artifacts on a common shared platform over the cloud. Now let's look at Jira or Bugzilla. All right, you can have a cloud-based version where you're saying that, you know what, I'll put everything there, or an ALM which will say that put everything within your server, within your organization, your department can access, and they have to really log into it. Correct? I've got one more comment from Mohan saying distributed testing. So from the comments team, because there's so many participants today, I'm so glad about it. I'm missing a few comments because the question and answer is just scrolling. Anything that I missed? Support mobile and response websites, Ron, that I put. I'm just talking distributed testing. So what is distributed testing? We're saying we'll run it on remote servers, devices, and platforms, right? We will talk about things like different mobile devices, different web browsers, versions, different kind of operating systems, and how do we are able to do it. And this can also be integrated with the cloud. Great, guys. This is what is a dream automation framework. There's no question about it. This is what, if we can implement all of this, then amazing. Thanks, Srinivas. Anything else? Please do put your hand back. Lakshmi, you had some points? Need to handle pure .NET based or Java based application. Have trouble identifying some fields using it. Okay, Mohan, I'll answer your question. Lakshmi, do you have something to say? Can't hear you, Lakshmi. I don't know why. Can you check your audio once? I keep you unmuted so till I hear you, or just try and see if there's something wrong with your mic. So there's a question. How effective is Selenium to handle pure .NET based or Java based applications? Have trouble to identify some fields using QTP, example .java tree or image icon and so on. All right. Here's my answer to it, guys. When you look at a web-based application, all right, let's say like GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar. Do you know what technology this is built on? Can you figure out? Did they use C#, Ruby on Rails, PHP, Python, Java to build this website, or pure? Lakshmi, we can hear you now. Give me 1 second. I'll finish that and I'll unmute you. Lakshmi, give me 1 second.
Okay.
Thank you. I could hear you, but I just muted you because I wanted to answer that. So irrespective of what technology and application is built, these automation testing tools do not worry about the fact of the backend technology. All they look at is the view, the page source, which at the end of the day is HTML if it has to be built or published onto the web. Even any JavaScript, whatever we do is part of this program. Okay, because the final rendering that has to happen has to be on a browser, and HTML is the version that will get things onto the browser. Even if it is CSS or JavaScripts and so on, the end result is going to come up in certain way that the automation testing tools are able to see what it is and how we can recognize from it. All right, so that's the answer for you, Mohan, on that question. So it doesn't really matter as to what you use as a platform or a technology, because we will be able to figure out using either Selenium or QTP, but QTP is a little bit more restricted. It's not open source. If I want to build something around QTP and launch it, then it's not that easy for me. It's not that straightforward for me. So Lakshmi, I have you unmuted again.
Yeah, hi Kat.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, hello, hi Kat.
Hello, go ahead please. I can hear you. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, do we have any recovery scenarios here, like in QTP we have recovery scenarios module.
So basically, recovery scenarios is nothing but running the test without programming interruptions. So if it encounters like a fatal error or a runtime error or something, it should be able to continue to execute the remaining things. End of the day, when we build this product, it will still look like, you know what, no problem, recovery, whatever, we'll still go through it and we should be able to manage it. So that should not happen. We should be able to recover from situations and go on. That should be the vision. Absolutely, yes. All right, Lakshmi?
Yeah, fine, Kat. Thank you.
So team, for some of you who are not part of lot of automation, that is fine. Most of this could be Greek and Latin. If it was a decade back when I had no clue about all this, it is going to be a challenge for me to know what is really happening in this class. We are just setting up high level goals, and then we'll talk about the high level requirements and then say what can we really do in the beta version with the limited scope and resources that we have. So day 3 onwards, it's going to be execution. We're going to focus on the development of it, and that will be very easy for it. So Any, please go on.
Yeah, hi. First of all, hello Karthik. I really did not join the first session. For some reason, I was a little confused with the timings. And also I'm working, so, late nights are a little better for me due to the rush hours while coming back home. But just to let you know, I am working on automation right now. I work as a QA tester to a very popular company here in USA. I don't know if you've heard of it, Johnson Controls. And most of the tools that we work on are they have applications which are mostly user interactive, and they're Windows based. Some are on the higher level of Metasys. They are like web based, you can say, but not to the true sense, like not web based applications that we have, the regular ones like for insurance and stuff. So when you want to really automate them, capturing the objects at runtime, it's really difficult. The one that I am currently working on, it has been automated previously with an open source tool called Sikuli, but that's so much UI based that because of every release change and stuff, the tests break. And previously they had been using Selenium for a while. I don't know why they switched to QTP, UFT. We are having huge trouble now with UFT, as you said, with the limitations. So I was trying to find out from you if there are any other solutions or approaches we can do with UFT, hoping that these object issues can be sorted out, because half the time UFT is unable to recognize objects, even if we capture them, even if we use descriptive programming for that matter, because most of this application, the objects have been reused many a time. So I thought you can give us a better suggestion on that.
Okay, you asked one of the most toughest question in the whole of automation and QA industry, because it's very tough to say an answer for it. I'll tell you very simple why. Okay, when it comes to automation, all right, we have the application under test on one side, and we have our human doing our programming language on the other side. Okay, now let's say the application under test is a web based. Okay,
Yes.
and we know that HTML is the main source for it. So all I need to do is teach an automation tool to understand how does a HTML look. How can we use DOM and a tree map to identify where those objects are. Because there are only two questions that any automation testing tool or automation tool for that example, forget about testing, should do. Where is it and what needs to be done? First, it needs to know how it can identify it. Second, can it actually pass a command to say, click on it type something or select something and so on. The only two inputs that a user uses, keyboard and a mouse. If we are able to pass those instructions, great. Now Selenium or QTP or UFT, whatever you call, can easily pass this. Now let's say you have a desktop based application. It could be on Windows, OS, Linux, whatever operating system. And it is built, let's say,
Yes.
using .NET technology. Now this automation tool should be able to understand .NET. And that is where UFT says, you know what, I can do that also. I just need a .NET add-in for it.
Okay.
And I can
Okay.
understand the
We
.NET
have
code.
Java. I'm sorry to interrupt. We do have a Java add-in, but that doesn't seem to really help much in terms of, like, as I said, so many objects have been reused, and when we go to capture them, it doesn't uniquely identify. We try to add in properties using descriptive programming, but I still feel 60% of the time our goal is not achieved. So
There could be two
that's
points. There are only
challenge.
two reasons for it. One, that there is a limitation because of the automation tool, or there is a limitation because the way the developers have built it. Let's say the developers have very randomly built it without proper planning, did not give any recognizing features, attributes, or element identifiers, or object
Mhm.
names and so on as they went about coding. Because any coding that you do, you have to describe that object. Let's say it's an edit box, text box where we enter something. How long is it going to be? How
Mhm.
will it look? What class? Should I give it a name so it is easy when we submit that form? All these things become important. When they don't do the right coding, that is the issue. I am assuming right now, like you said, that the development team has not built it. If the development team had built it in the right coding standards, then using descriptive programming, it should not be a challenge at all to get there. It should not be.
Okay.
If UFT is failing,
Okay.
trust me on this, I'm not
Mhm.
a great fan of UFT or a big, support saying that it'll do everything. But I know its limitations, I know its strengths. I know where. UFT can do most of it,
Okay.
but it cannot do everything.
Okay. But do you suggest, like, I have done I have done quite a few of the tests as of now, like I've covered almost 20 out of 100. And I tried using descriptive programming. I did not find it very feasible. Instead, some of the record and run was much more simpler. The only thing is I had to parameterize some of the things, and that was an issue. But it still worked better. It was more simple. And when I changed the platform or I used a VM for testing, the
Now
descriptive
I have a
programming
question for
worked.
you. If a
Okay.
record and run is working fine,
Mhm.
that means that object
Mhm.
repository is getting captured correctly. There is no problem in it.
Okay.
So the where portion is no challenge then. Now,
Okay.
you're parameterizing some of those properties within here. You could do absolutely the same using descriptive programming too. There is something that
Okay.
you're not doing right in using the tool. Now I do not doubt the application itself. If it is recording,
Okay.
so the easiest way for you is to record, run, write the code, build the object repository, and then write your own code. Use the
Okay.
record and run just to build the object repository and then write your own customized code.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. I'm adding manually when I'm adding the object repository. I was not following record, and I was all the while trying to use the like plus button, and then I'm trying to capture the object. I would say 60% of it gets captured. When I do record and run, then also it's not 100% foolproof, but at least 80% of it is getting captured. So
All right.
I am,
I'll ask you one
yeah,
last question.
sure.
Within the organization or the team that you have access to, who is
Mhm.
the expert at HP UFT and automation?
I do have a team lead for automation, and I also have a team lead in general, but he works mostly manual.
So
So
what
like one person who handles domain and the other person who handles technology.
so what does he or she say?
So I'm sorry. He works in multiple tools in automation, but
I no,
this
listen to my question once again, please, so that we don't deviate from
yes.
the topic because this looks very specific to your issue. I want to go back to
Uh-huh.
agenda. What does he or she say?
Well, he's very new to the tool, and I mean the application which we are
I
working
don't
on.
think we
So
have
he also,
the enough capability in terms of automation to make this happen as of now. That's my belief. As I
yeah, he's telling this application is a little tricky, but they have done it for a more simpler application, and that UFT worked fine. But this
I'll tell you,
application, as I
I'll tell you what,
said,
this is my feedback. And guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to take the credit out of anyone's capabilities and so on. But many times I see the blame being pushed on the application or the tool. And a lot of times it is our ability to automate it. Lot of times. Are we able to write the right code to be able to do it? So
okay.
that's what I think. But again, unless I dig deep, I'm not saying that I'm the best in the world, but I know that I can, maybe I'll dig deep, I'll sleep couple of, only 2 hours a night per week, but I will find a solution. If there is a solution for it, I will find it. That is the kind of commitment I will have. And all I need is Google. All I need is the access to the tool. And we will keep breaking it, trying it. It will happen. And I can guarantee that to you.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is I'm giving you the fact that it can happen. If record and run is working and object repository is getting created, I think it's fine. You just have to now figure out how we can program into it. Worst case, we'll use Mercury device replay or Windows shell scripting to do a lot of these things as well. It can be done. So a lot of extent, but to what extent do we have the bandwidth to invest into automation again comes, and that is where that efficiency as a keyword for automation will make sense. All right. But again, I can't look into your application, at least not now, and we have a larger audience, we have a different goal. But this challenge is a great input for us because uh, we should be able to decide quickly as to what we can automate and what we cannot automate. That's one input that I really want to be able to add into our document right now. Can we know if certain areas are better to not automate early on? Can we do that? That becomes important as well. The reason I'm saying this, and Sohini, I'll put your hand down. If you have a question further, please feel free to raise your hand. Is a lot of times we invest so much time into breaking our heads into something that's really not letting us automate well, and then we figure out, oh, you know what, it's better not to automate this. So can that be a feature as well? All right. And I'm looking at a couple of more comments. We can use DOM features to identify objects. Yes, we can. And that's what even Selenium does, or any other automation tool for that matter on web. So you're welcome, Sohini. Can we use DOM as a model/feature to identify and interact with objects/elements? All right, this is again a great word that I have. So Manoj, I know you're here probably. I just want to quickly ask, do we have another session that is pending that you're waiting for me to end this one?
Hi Karthik. UFT Live project day 1.
Okay, so guys, it's on the same link, is it?
Yes, it is same link.
Okay, then can I ask from the audience, anyone there right now waiting for the QTP or UFT Live project day 1 to start, please? Okay, I've seen one yes. Any more yeses, please? If there are more than a few yeses, and I'll ask them also one more question. Can we continue for a few more minutes on today's topic and then switch on to the UFT day 1? Is it okay? Okay to continue for a few more minutes on Selenium? Not Selenium, it is Selenium team. This is what I'm doing. I think, see, while I'm taking all the inputs, maybe we'll come back to Selenium. Like I said, end of the day, I want to be able to convince you why we want to use certain technology and so on. So it's okay, right, for me to spend a few more minutes and then we can get back. So a lot of great features, team. Thank you so much, everyone, from the UFT session to accept it. Sincerely apologize for the delay in that. So, man, this is amazing. This is powerful. If we can really build this is going to kill the whole market. You know, I tell this to a lot of startups, and I've been working with startups for the last almost a decade. I mean, my first startup that I did and I failed miserably was in 2002. And that was a great learning experience. It's brought me here. What I see is this team. And this is what I'll tell you. Let's say you're part of the development team, like in this case, for building a product X. Okay. A product X is there and you're part of the development team. Okay. And development team is there who are developing and who are so knowledgeable on this product that they will get top dollars out of it. Give me some example, please. SAP, Oracle, all right, or IBM, ABAP in early 2000s and so on were so killer rich that they have just rocketed the market. Java was also there. They were not part of developers, but they knew how that product works. There are development platforms and products. These are all more about technologies, not technologies, products. Okay. And then there are Java, .NET that came on. They are not necessarily the same dollar as the products. Having a product and having a skill to understand how a product works is great. The reason I see a lot of startups who develop products, be it startup web-based ideas, sharing ideas, e-commerce ideas and so on, is they love their products like crazy. They just love it. The entrepreneurs who build a product love the product so much that they forget that there is the most important thing in the whole concept of any business. What is that? Can someone help me answer that circle that is blank right now? Vijay, I don't know why you got an email saying that day 2 session starts at 8 p.m. It was 7 p.m. We started at 7 p.m. Pacific time. So I don't know which time zone you were in, so I'm sorry that you missed. So guys, question. I've asked a question, answer. Wake up. If you're not there, then you're more than welcome to walk out, end the session. Okay. This is what I see. Testing. Testing maybe. Customers requirement. Need to be user friendly. User friendliness. Quality. Customer. End user. They forget the market. Market is built on users and it is built on user acceptance of the products. It is always the market. If during development they kept market in view and they built their development based on that, they would have had higher chances of success than the other startups, than the other entrepreneurs. Every entrepreneur that I've spoken to in the last 18-20 months who talked about their products, they just talk about the product. We've developed this, we've done this, we've done that. And I say, okay, how many customers do you have? What do your customers say about it? What kind of a test you did of the user market and so on? Oh yeah, some have accepted and so on, but I'm sure they'll accept. There's nothing called a surety as a word of mouth. It is always the market. Why did Facebook buy, and guys, remember now your product development, WhatsApp for almost $20 billion, guys. If today I need to sit with a team and develop WhatsApp as an application, it'll take me about 2 to 3 months with about 10 amazing developers and I can develop it. So let's say I can spend about $10,000, $20,000, I can develop WhatsApp. Why did Facebook give $20 billion almost to it? Because they already had a great market. Because they had so many users and the users have accepted the product. That is the reason. Now you're trying to understand, team. If you as this development team needs to be very successful around all the effort that we're going to put to this, we should understand what the market requires. The market already has Selenium, it has QTP, it has robot framework, it has many integrators, something that the market does not have, something that this product should stand out uniquely, and that USP is gonna change everything in the direction we take. The USP are unique selling proposition. So out of this list of requirements, I would like to pinpoint a few from my side, and I want you all to pinpoint and tell me what are the requirements that we should choose that the market will really require and that we can deliver it with ease. Okay, sometimes the market will say, you know what, I require a jetpack. I want a drone that I can stand on and fly by using my smartphone. The market will say, yeah, I want it. Can you give it to me? Not necessarily that the technology is so advanced that we can give. Sometimes the technology fails, sometimes the product makers also can fail. So we have to decide what are those unique selling propositions which will become the mandatory features for our AnyAut to be able to automate anything. And the concept is very simple, team. Take any process that is manually being done, we should be able to automate it with ease. That's the end of story. Can we really do something that is so simple, easy, like WhatsApp? It doesn't require a lot of training, like any other application that you use. That does not require a user to really have a long learning curve, like Facebook started. It should be very user friendly. Users should be able to accept it. Right? So tomorrow when we meet, we'll talk about this. But Manoj, I'll request you one thing. I have shared this folder with you. Can we create a survey or something and put these questions and have people choose from this list of goals that we have, so we know which looks to be leaning more towards USP, and each of the users can choose, let's say, 5 from this list, only 5 features from this list. And once they choose those 5 and the most common 5 to 10, we will put it out here, and then we can start building the high level requirements around this, and then we'll get into that amazing journey of developing it. That we will work. And trust me, team, I cannot do everything single-handedly. It is not going to happen. I require a lot of support from each of you. Also, we require a lot of support from additional development and technology experts across who are not part of this, and we will get that. We will make it happen. But once we agree on something, we will know what to do. We will have a way to do it. So team, I am towards the end of today's session, and I think it's a great useful session because it was a simple brainstorm. We're letting ideas flow. We're letting concepts flow. And once we are achieving this, it becomes very easy for us to develop it. So see, nothing related with automation, technology, coding, or testing that we did today. It's just about product development. How do we go about brainstorming what features we want to add and what we can take? So a few questions that I'm ready to take, team, from the team before we switch this session into the UFT live project. Prerequisite: what all software required to install? 2. Are there any links for basics of automation using Selenium IDE and element identification in core Java? Yes, and I believe you already would have received or will receive an email over that. Manoj, can you please coordinate with Ashna and make sure that we are able to do that and send across the list of things that we want the members to.
Sure, Karthik.
Thank you, buddy. What else? Any other questions, guys? Do you like what we're doing out here? Or so audience? Or is this like crazy, stupid things that doesn't make sense at all? Because end of the day, we will learn. We will learn Selenium, we'll learn Java, we'll learn about frameworks, but we're also trying to build something. So anyone not agreeing? Because I'm seeing a few yeses and I'm glad about it because it's the first time I'm trying to do it with an open audience. Guys, so many of you, come on, comment. Priyank, so some of you totally confused, some of you excited. And like I said, give me 2 days, you'll understand. Right now we're just trying to build the framework. Any of you confused, please look at that All About Automation Frameworks video. You'll get a good idea what we're trying to do. We're trying to build an amazing automation framework that the industry requires, and you will be part of that journey. So I put the link again in the chat. So please look at this 1-hour video. You'll get a great insight about what we're talking. All right. And it's totally fine to be confused, team. And trust me, even tomorrow you'll be more and more confused. Day 3 onwards, when we start putting all the information and say this is what we're going to develop and so on, then it'll be interesting. Please share with me course content. Guys, it's not a typical training where there's a course content. Very simple. Selenium, Selenium ID, element identification, WebDriver, core Java, frameworks. That is the course content. Now we're going to go so deep into it, a very, very few percentile of people overall will match to what we did. Totally new to Selenium, not a problem, don't worry. You will have to definitely watch a few videos, guys, to get your hands on, and it's not gonna be totally easy, but as you see us developing it, it'll become easy for you. What all frameworks do you cover? Okay, let's look at that video again, all about automation frameworks. So we're trying to cover almost every framework that is popular in the industry. I'll teach you about JUnit and TestNG, not in this. I may more switch towards core Java than specifically JUnit and TestNG. JUnit and TestNG have been customized as frameworks out of the Java programmers to do unit testing. So they have basic building blocks to do it. When we go back to our core, which is core Java, we have an open wide world to really explore on. All right. Sarvana, can you write to learn@itlearn.com with what you require, and they will respond back. So team, looks like we are towards the end of the session. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you so much for speaking up to all the participants who did, and the questions section as well. We'll see you back tomorrow. Let's take it forward. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Bye now. Tomorrow's class, C team, regarding the class timings and so on, you'll get the notifications from GoToMeeting and the email from the team. Please do add us into your contact list, learn@itlearn.com. That way you don't miss any emails coming from us. Geetika, I don't know which email you talked.
Before.
So, sorry, Manoj, go on.
Just a quick check if we can continue this session, because it's maybe for some people it will be too late. So if everyone is okay, we can continue for your live project.
Yeah, so let me know please in the chat, so that way. So at least I can close the session. Manoj, you can probably start the record the session at your end, and ask the audience who will stay back for that session for UFT. So let me formally close SLT day 1, since we're trying to still do the requirements gathering right now, and then we'll look at the other participants from there. All right. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Bye from Karthik. Manoj, you can continue. Thank you.